President Obama is in Puerto Rico, or was in Puerto Rico yesterday, and he was obviously pandering for the Hispanic vote in 2012. Is the right message being sent out by the Republican and the Democratic Party to a demographic that is highly coveted, the Hispanic community? Can you speak to that?
Well, I think what's most important is that I think all people, Hispanics and others, find when there's politics, the kind of the cynicism that President Obama has demonstrated and displayed, that's not what people want to see. I think what people want to see is a consistent message, and Republicans need to do a better job. We don't need to tailor a special message to the Hispanic community, and the Hispanic community is very diverse, not just diverse within Florida, it's diverse around the country as well. But we need to have a consistent message. We need to remind people that we are the party that understands that our rights come from our Creator, that we're strong in faith, that we're a pro-family, pro-life party, and also too that we're a party of economic prosperity based on the spirit of the individual, not the power of the state, that we're not trying to create more dependency on government, but want to provide more opportunity. And I think that's what resonates in the Hispanic community, and it resonates across the nation for people who understand that better opportunities for their children and for their grandchildren will come with limited government governing principles, and more importantly right now the issues that we have to face of cutting spending, of balancing the budget, of paying down this debt which is strangling our country's ability to create jobs and have economic growth. And so I think it's important for us to not look at the Hispanic community as Republicans and try to just make it look like it's a one-issue type of community. We need to get back to our consistent principles, and I think that will attract more Hispanics. It's an important voting bloc clearly today, and even more so as it's growing. But I think Republicans need to be more consistent in their message and attract the Hispanic community.
The community is inherently conservative. Speaking from experience, Hispanics come from other countries, obviously, that first and foremost, God is the focal point and the centerpiece of their lives, and everything else revolves around it. Speak to that.
Well, Republicans can't be afraid to talk about it, and we can't be afraid to talk about the importance of social issues, the sanctity of life, the institution of marriage between man and a woman, the fact that it's been the dependency on government. It's been the breakdown in the family that's created the dependency on government. We can't be afraid to talk about those issues and how they are connected directly to our out-of-control spending through the creation of such large government and high taxes and excessive spending, and how that also has an impact on our weakened standing on the global stage, that all of these issues are interrelated. And so Republicans can't be afraid to have that conversation. And it's not about tailoring a special message for one community or another community. It's about showing the consistent demonstration that the Republican Party is the party that stands for human life, that is pro-family, that is pro-life, that stands for a strong national defense based on peace through strength, that is about economic prosperity so that children and future generations have more opportunity and more job growth potential than those who came before them. And that only is going to come about with the types of policies that the Republican Party is espousing and will govern by, which is limited government, lower taxes, having ability to attack the debt, which is stifling our economic growth, and free market principles. And I think if we're more consistent, I think our message is going to resonate better in the Hispanic community, and more importantly, across the country. Well, unfortunately, we've seen it already, and it's come from the top with President Obama's cynicism and the speeches that he's given. I think everybody is concerned, Hispanics especially, about the crisis that we have on our southern border. We can't play into these scare tactics. We also need to have a very sober and thoughtful conversation about America's broken immigration policy. We have two sets of rules right now. We have one where people are coming into the country legally, and one where people are coming in illegally. I think first and foremost, we have to have secure borders, and I think everybody agrees with that. Our nation is defined by a few things. One of them are our borders. The other is our culture and our laws. And so after securing our borders, we also need to enforce the laws that we currently have on the books. And that's not something that's pro-Hispanic or anti-Hispanic. That's about enforcing the rule of law here in this country. And we can't allow people to demagogue or use the type of rhetoric and scare tactics. We need to make sure we have a policy that is about securing our borders, that's about enforcing our laws on the books, and then ultimately addressing some of the longer term issues that are out there. And I'm afraid that the Democrats have already gotten a head start in terms of some of the scare tactics and cynicism. Republicans just need to do a better job of articulating what our message is on secure borders and enforcing the laws that we currently have on the books. What I think one of the issues that I've been talking about as I've been campaigning around the state is that illegal immigration is not just an economic issue. It's not just one about jobs and about the drain on public resources for health and education and public safety. It's also a national security issue because we have documented instances of Hezbollah operatives coming across our border and into this country, and we know from experience that these are people who seek to do harm here. And so that's why securing our border is so critical from a national security perspective. We also have a public safety threat along our southern border as it relates to some of the recent drug wars and some of the recent attacks on our border patrol. These are dangerous threats, and that's why securing our borders is the primary objective. And until we get that under control, I don't believe that there is anything else that we should be focused on or should be doing. That has got to be job number one. But in addition to from being a economic issue and a national security issue, it's also a moral issue. And I think what's important is to distinguish the fact that you can't have two different sets of rules. You can't have a set of rules where you tell some people it's okay to come into this country illegally while you're telling other people that they need to follow the rules and play and go through the existing process. And so that's something that I think we're going to need to clean up and fix is our legal immigration process, because it's certainly what makes America great. But we can't have, it's an immoral situation when you tell some people that they don't have to abide by certain rules and laws and you force other people to do it. So it's an economic issue, it's a security issue, and it's also a moral issue.
But it's not a race issue.
It is certainly not a race issue. And I think that's very important for Republicans, to not allow the demagoguery and the cynicism from the Democrats use this as a political weapon. What we need to be focused on is how do we make our country stronger? We secure our borders, we create jobs, and we have a working, functional, legal immigration system that I think those are the things that will get our country back on the right track. But we can't allow for this to be demagogued and the cynicism that's out there.